Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from. Thank you for joining. Happy to have you here, and welcome, welcome. As usual, I see some familiar faces, some new faces, and some people who have been gone a while and are back, which is always lovely. So thanks for being here. Reminder, if you do have a question, please put the letter Q in front of it, and that makes it easier for me to see it on the screen through the rest of the chat. And I will I promise I will get to the questions. Well, I actually can't promise that. Sometimes we run out of time, and that's just what happens. But I will try to get to all the questions. And please do refrain from repeating the question multiple times, because all that does is just confuse me, because then I think I saw something in the queue, and then I get confused where I was left off. So post your question. And if I am not getting to it right away, it's because there's just it's a busy day in the chat. So, yes, wonderful. I don't really know what to expect today. We'll see what happens. But I do have a couple of announcements that I will at some point drop in the middle of the stream. So let's see if there's any quick ones we can get to, or people we can say hi to at the beginning here. Axel says, when are you changing the wall color? Well, I could change it right now, because it's actually just a little light that I shine on the wall. It's not even it's not even paint. But I like my little teal color, so we're going to go with that today. I always forget where it is. It looks like it's about there. Okay. And oh yeah, there's also something new I'm trying on today's stream, so we'll see who notices it first. When are you going to start using the main desk shot? Oh, Keith, thank you for the super chat. Starting things off strong. Oh, I assume you're talking about our little conversation we had yesterday about the Wacom tablet. Yeah, that's I haven't like made a big deal out of it on the channel yet, because I'm still trying things out and figuring it out, and I haven't even like done a permanent install of it here. But the Wacom One tablet I have here now, and I am planning on using it for my actual work, where I'm going to be doing more drawings and stuff live and live sketching over video as I'm presenting things. So we will see how that goes, and I will be sure to update more here as I learn more about how to use it. So thanks for the super chat. Love your audio monitor. I know, fun little thing. Fun little thing that actually was part of Comica's gift care package they sent over. So thanks to Comica for that. Okay. Okay, a couple questions, and then we're gonna move, and then we're gonna get things going. So, I have a Sony a6000 for the teleprompter, Lumix G95 and G7 G95. I don't remember the G95. I remember the G85. Gonna get an ATEM Extreme ISO. Are there any issues with input or audio delay or other issues that you can forewarn me about? Advice. Yes. So the main thing that you're gonna want to do if you're mixing cameras like that is color and sync. So the colors will look a little bit different between the two families of cameras. So you can luckily go into the cameras and adjust the colors quite a bit to tweak them if you want, if they don't match. I've done a little bit of that here, not a super ton. So for example, this camera is the Lumix G7, and I've tried to make it match this one pretty well. And then this one is the Sony a6400. So that would be similar to your 6000. And instead of trying to match this exactly with this, what I've done is I use it as an overhead shot, so that it just doesn't really matter. So that's one way to sort of get around that problem. The other one is the sync, and you might notice that this audio sync is way off compared to this one, because the Lumix G7 and I believe the G85 has the same audio sync, and those are much, much slower compared to this Blackmagic camera, for example. And I believe the Sony cameras are also quite a lot faster. So this one is the ZV-E10, Sony ZV-E10, and I'm not in the shot, so the sync doesn't matter. But that, yeah, I don't really have a good way to like show you the sync difference between all the different cameras. But that's something to keep in mind. So one way is to not do what I'm doing here because it's really obvious, but instead use it for shots where the sync is less important. So if you're mixing the delays, because you can't delay the video like you can delay audio. You will want to, of course, make sure your audio matches your main camera. And if you are bringing audio not in through that camera, if you're bringing it in through like the analog input on the ATEM, you can delay it in the ATEM to match the camera delay, but if you have multiple that you're mixing, it's going to be a bit awkward. So I should probably fix that in my setup here and use the same cameras for my two sort of main shots, but that is just, I'll just have to live with it for now. Great question, though. Okay, and Carl has another question from the beginning, which I thankfully didn't get lost in the chat because he started with a Q. Could you explain best practices for using the ATEM Mini HDMI input 1 and additionally differences in HDMI outputs 1 and 2 on the extreme? So yeah, the input 1 on the ATEM Mini, the small ones, is the same as the input 1 and 2 on the extreme. So it's basically like a doubled up. And the deal is it's a different chip, different HDMI processing chip on that input, either input 1 on the Mini or 1 and 2 on the extreme. And they use a different one so that they can get a pass-through mode. So there's a special mode in the ATEM software control. So it looks like that's all set. In the ATEM software control, if you go to the outputs, you can see how I have two outputs, right? The two HDMIs on the ATEM Mini Extreme, and I can set it to any of these cameras, but there's a special one which is called Direct, and it's basically taking the label of whatever I've put as input 1 and saying that camera Direct. That's the special one. Output 1 can have camera 1 Direct, output 2 can have camera 2 Direct. And on the ATEM Mini, there's only one output and it's only camera 1 Direct. What that does is it basically routes the video out the HDMI port without doing anything to it first. And the idea is for super low latency. So if you wanted to be doing, if you're playing a game, like a video game that you want to stream, you want your local view of it to be as real time as possible and with no single frame delay. So that pass-through mode will mean that your view of it is not being processed by the ATEM. It's just sort of pass-through. So that's the deal with that input. And yeah, I think gameplay, or if you're doing like sometimes it's important, but if you're doing like projection in a room, in a venue, and it's like a computer screen that somebody's presenting off of, I feel like for like static slides is not that important, but if maybe there's video or there's other things that are a little bit more real time, that could be another use for that as well. So that is the deal with those. Thank you for the questions. Okay. Are we going for 2 hours plus? Probably not. No. Oh, MT says the PK logo is new. I'm trying that out. We'll see how I like it. I uploaded a logo to my YouTube channel finally, and that was not what I was talking about. That is, I forgot about that. Bailey got it. It's auto switching the inputs. Yes. So, and yeah, okay. A few of you are catching it. This is great. So yeah, what's happening is I'm trying out a feature of MixEffect that I've actually demoed quite a bit before. And the idea is it's switching cameras based on audio levels of the video. So I wanted to try it out for this show. Basically what I'm trying is, and it's not perfect, I can tell. What I'm trying is if I stop talking, I want it to switch to the wide angle. But if I am talking, I want you to see me. And that way, as I'm like reading through the comments, my thought was, okay, if I pause because I'm reading, then it switches to that. And then as I talk again, it will, yeah. So that's what I'm trying out. It's called Video Follows Audio, and it is a feature in the MixEffect app. And it basically is continually monitoring the audio levels coming in from different inputs that I've configured, and then sending the camera switch angles to the ATEM. So yeah, we'll see. It probably needs a little bit more tuning. Yes, I agree. Adam did a very good job on this feature. It does work very well. There's a lot of, if it's not looking perfect in this stream, it's because I haven't tuned it right. The feature is amazing and you can do a ton of stuff with it. And it is very flexible. So I might need to tweak the parameters a little bit of how it's working if it's, because I feel like sometimes it's switching back too soon. Let me just go ahead and actually do that really quick because I can show you how it works to set it up. So, oh, Adam is here. Probably adjust the hold feature on the switch input. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. So I'm going to go share my phone screen. So I'm actually running it off of my phone, not even my iPad right now, which is not fantastic to do, but I should be running over Ethernet, for example, which I'm just not doing. Okay, I need to get that one into the stream for you. Which is this one. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Now I need to turn it off. I also gave myself a button to turn it off, thankfully. So in here, I have it set up to monitor the main audio of the program, and if it is greater than -39 dB for 31 samples, which I don't know exactly how big a sample is, so that's a little bit confusing, then it will change the program to the table, do a cut, and seconds to hold. Okay, so that's what I want to change here. I want to change the I want 6 seconds to change to maybe, like, let's lock it to 10. And what that should do is, as soon as this triggers, it will not allow it to do anything else until 10 seconds has gone by. We'll save that one. And then I couldn't set up another trigger on the same mic input to go the other way. So instead what I did is, that camera just has a built-in microphone. So I set it up on that camera. You're obviously not hearing that audio, but it is coming through. You can see it's coming through on the ATEM. So that table camera, it's monitoring this one. So allow trigger when the source is off the air. Yeah. When the audio level drops below -45, that's when I stop talking, for 71 samples, which is maybe a little bit too low. So let me go crank that up to like 90 samples. And then that changes to the wide camera. And we are going to hold that for 2 seconds because I do want it to flip back pretty quick, but I don't want it to immediately flip back. So we'll see how this goes. I can't remember what repeat delay does, but it's set to 10 right now. So, okay, that's back. Now, if I turn this on, and I actually gave myself a companion button to turn this on because that's a little bit easier. So I can just push this button over here on my Stream Deck, and now we are running the VFA. So we'll see how this goes. It's a very cool feature though. And I've been wanting that for a very long time, and finally this app has it. Okay. Other questions? Let's see if we can get to a couple other quick questions here. Mike says, at the start of last week, you showed that cam 1 focus was good, but your auto switch camera 2 looks so much sharper. So what's the deal? I don't know. This one's behind teleprompter glass, so maybe that's part of it. The other one is not. The other one is just the Lumix camera. They're both using good lenses. They're both using Lumix lenses. That one's a 12. This one's 12 to 35. That one's 15. I do like the 15 millimeter a lot. I think it's possible that, let me just manually switch over to this one. I think it's very possible that this camera is actually doing some extra sharpening to the picture compared to this one. That could be what it is. The other theory I have is that there's more stuff in this shot, so it looks sharper to your eyes. Because I don't have them side by side, obviously. Not totally sure about that I'm not going to dig too much into it now because I am very likely going to change up all of the everything in here. I think I'm going to move this table completely. I think I'm going to have, my current thought is moving this table up against that wall, and that way I can shoot kind of down the table off to the side. Because I want to have kind of like this, but I don't know. I'm still working on the set. Anyway, then I'll refigure out what cameras make sense where and which lenses make sense where, because it's possible I'm not going to use a 15 for that wide shot anymore. I might need it for the main shot. Do you have a MIDI pedal board to switch the camera, switch scenes? No, this is just the auto switching in MixEffect. It is a cool idea being able to use your feet to switch cameras, but I think that would take too much work, too much brain power for me. Have you used the Leica 10-25 with your GH5 Mark II? Still happy with the GH5 II purchase? Yeah, I still like that camera a lot. It's fantastic. I don't have that lens. I've been thinking about getting it. It's very, very, very expensive. So I haven't bought that one yet, but it does look very nice, and I'm very, very tempted to get it. Martine says, what would you recommend to transport video and audio over longer distance to the switcher? SDI or NDI? I need to get video from near an ice skating rink. Distance is more than 250 meters, 700 feet. I think both are a fine option, but I think it depends more on... Oh, thank you for the super chat. Oh my gosh. Thanks for the great shows. I often download the show and watch on my way to work on the London Underground. And Brecky on the tube. That's cool. Thanks. Thanks for the super chat. But yeah, I think on the SDI versus NDI, SDI cables are very expensive and heavy. And if it's going to be a permanent installation, I would probably go that route because it's just simpler. And I feel like it just ends up being better. But if it is something that you're going to set up once or twice or every week, that can get to be a real pain running that much cable. It gets very, very heavy, and then you have to deal with spooling it all back up again. Whereas NDI, you can do with thinner cable, smaller cable. You can use existing network infrastructure that's in the building. So it depends on the rest of the environment. But with the NDI, of course, if you aren't using an NDI video mixer, then you're going to have to do conversions at both ends. So that can end up getting, those boxes can be very expensive, like at least 300 each. So if one of the cameras is already NDI, that of course saves a converter. But if you're going into an ATEM or something, you're going to need a box to bring that out into HDMI. Serious Film says, YoloBox fan, but with a new update, is it worth using it with no audio or overlay? What's the workaround having HDMI source in OBS and trying to sync audio? So yeah, and I saw somebody else asked this earlier in the chat as well, and there it is, from Jules. Can you talk about the potential uses of the USB-C YoloBox update and its benefits looking forward? So this is a new update from YoloBox that shipped a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday. I don't remember exactly when. But they finally did ship the first version of the new feature, which is using the YoloBox as a USB-C webcam. So just like you can bring the ATEM Mini via USB-C into a computer, use it in Zoom, use it in OBS, whatever, you can now do that with the YoloBox, with a couple of pretty big caveats. Right now, the first version of this they shipped, there is no audio coming over that USB connection, that webcam connection right now, which I don't know why it's so complicated to do, but apparently it's complicated and they couldn't do it in the first release. That's a pretty big limit. The other pretty big limit is it's not a true program out right now. the background images, if you have background images, those aren't displayed. Again, I don't really know why it's doing that. Why it wasn't straightforward to just have the program video go out, but those are the limits with it. So because of that, it's definitely a limits what you can do with it, I guess, is what I would say. So the I don't know what I'm not actually super excited about the webcam feature, to be honest. I've been asking them to prioritize other things first, which I think would be more useful. Maybe that's just because I don't have a use of it for that, but like bringing into OBS, I feel like really only makes sense if you're going to then be doing things in OBS that are easier to do in OBS. So one thing that that could be good for is like bringing in other graphics or like bringing in remote callers, for example, because you can do remote callers over video.ninja in OBS, and you can't really do that with the YoloBox itself. I just feel like the main benefit of the YoloBox is that it is a standalone device that can stream itself. And as soon as you're bringing it into something over a webcam, then you're not taking advantage of that feature, which is kind of like the main feature of the YoloBox, in my opinion. That's my thoughts on it. So yeah, that's where I'm at on that feature. I guess I'm probably not going to do any videos about it until they update it to include audio, because I feel like it's kind of a not very compelling feature if there's no audio coming through that connection. So, yeah. Oh, Martine has a follow-up here. It will be a moving, non-permanent setup, possibly for 3 rinks. Currently investigating options. So another option is using an ATEM and a streaming bridge. And the reason I say that is because that can go over any network connection. And when you're streaming with the streaming bridge and the ATEM, you can actually stream a compressed video feed. So NDI wants to take over the entire available bandwidth. Basically, you need like 100 megabits. They have some other more compressed ones now. I don't remember exactly, but like it's designed for local network, tightly controlled environment, push as much video as high quality as possible. That's what it's going to do. So using the internet, using the ATEM's encoder, what you can do with that is stream a much more compressed version. So like I'm streaming this show, for example, at 6 megabits a second. And at 6 megabits a second, you can push that over Wi-Fi, for example. So then you can do, so one option you can do is essentially point-to-point Wi-Fi with bring your own antenna on both ends, and then you don't have any wires, and it's your own private network. And you may not be able to get 100 megabits out of that, although you might be able to if you buy expensive enough hardware, but you could definitely get a connection good enough to do 6 megabits, no problem. And that is definitely another option. Alonzo is reminding me that I misread the number 250 meters, and for some reason I registered it as 250 feet, even though I think you had the feet conversion in there. Yeah, this is a very good point. SDI and Ethernet cables are going to not want to run a single run that long. That is very, very long. Also very, very expensive. So fiber is another good option. But again, it's that's a lot of oh, Darren, thanks for the super chat. Like a 10 to 25 lens donation or after stream recovery beverage. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. Yeah, the fiber is definitely a good option for that kind of distance, but then you're going into very expensive cable, expensive converters at both ends, and fragile, because if you break that cable, you're gonna be really sad. Honestly, I would probably go with some sort of wireless solution. I believe some of the wireless transmitters claim they can go that far. So like the, let me see, Cine i2S. I haven't been able to like figure out how to actually test the range at those kinds of distances myself, because that's a very long way. Sitting I2S claims 1,200 feet. So if you have line of sight, then that's another great option. And the delay on those is very minimal. And the Hollyland ones also, the Hollyland, I think the Cosmo C1 is something similar distance, 1,000 feet line of sight. Again, line of sight is very important in these because they're not going to cooperate if there's a lot of interference at those distances. That might be how I would do it, honestly, because then also you don't have to worry about running cables. Optical fiber is cheaper at that distance. Fiber is not expensive, especially if you're running NDI over fiber. Good to know. I think I feel like the converters, every time I've looked at fiber converters, because I haven't actually done any fiber installation myself, but the converters are the ones that are the things that add up really fast. Because you have to buy, like, I guess all the converters add up. So maybe it's not even, maybe it's comparable. Oh, this is a great tip from Andrew. Keywords for your research are tactical fiber and media converter. Fantastic. Building Stuff says, I did this for Remembrance Day service. I used 200-meter fiber with the Hollyland bridging a 100-meter gap. Huh, interesting. Cool. 750 would be along the outer side. The line of sight would be 150. Oh, that makes sense, right? Because if you're going around, you're going to have to run a cable. But 150 is super reasonable for those wireless transmitters. So that's probably the best bet then. Thank you for the super chat, Christian. Oh, the comment came in separately. It says, while waiting for your membership option. I'm getting very close to figuring out what to do with this. And I think I'm going to tie in the super chats to it in a sort of magic way. So thank you. And that will definitely counts. I appreciate it. Okay, so I want to do a quick update on some of my own business and share a new bit of news. So I should do this. Okay, I want to share a bit of updates on the PK1 stands. I should drop that into the chat too. If you are not familiar with it, which I hope you are by now, but the PK1 stands are the stands I've designed for the ATEM Mini Extreme, the ATEM Mini, this size, and also now the YoloBox. And both YoloBoxes actually, separate stands for these. And we are shipping them from all over the place. But we have a new store that is shipping them. They just got brought on, and that is from Italy. So I've got a new button here where if you are in that region and that is closer to you, then please go ahead and order one from them. I also wanted to introduce them because they're a very cool shop, and I asked them to send me a little video that I can play on this stream. So I am going to cue that up, and we're going to take a look at their little introduction. So yeah, thanks AdCom for coming on to as a reseller for these stands.
Hey Aaron, this is Alfonso. I just wanted to say hi to you and all your viewers, and thank you for the great PK1 stands. They're very well conceived and very well built. It's a fantastic tool for us to offer to all our customers who need a reliable, easy to mount and easy to carry stand for these two great devices that we all love. Let me sneak in with you so I can show you who we are and what we do.
ATEM has been in the business since '92, and it's located in beautiful Bologna at the heart of Italy. From day one, we try to give our customers the best solutions for their business. Sony, Panasonic, Canon, JVC, Roland, you could find all big brands here and many more. We've been Blackmagic resellers since 2003, and most recently we started selling the small but powerful YoloBox. We serve customers all over Europe and beyond. We try to give solutions from the newbie to the pro. Just call, email, or follow us on social media. We are ATEM.
Thanks, Alfonso. Thanks for that. Yes, the PK1 franchise grows larger. Not exactly a franchise. No, they are distributors of the products, and I'm very happy to have them on board. And hopefully, this makes it even more accessible to people in Italy and around that area. And yes, very huge thanks to Alfonso for sending it out to me. That video was a fantastic introduction to them, so appreciate it a lot. And yeah, go ahead and give their store a visit. And if I'm ever in the area, I will definitely be stopping by to say hi. Cool. I will drop their store link in the chat as well. Slick video, says CJ. Yeah, I agree. I think that was a great video. Go Italy. Cool instruction video. Yeah, I'm glad you all liked it. Wonderful. Add a holder for an espresso cup. I don't think we should encourage people to be placing espresso so close to their ATEMs, but I like the thought. Okay. What next? What else can we get to here? Oh, Sandor says, hi from Hungary. It'd be cheaper for me too. That's wonderful. Yeah. Hopefully this will save some people on shipping costs and import taxes and stuff like that. So yeah. Beverages near the ATEMs is a bad plan. I agree. iPad holder. Yeah. We'll see. You can definitely like do it with some other contraptions, because like it's got the mounting option, right, where you can put stuff onto it. Keep not disabling that. You can put stuff onto it and attach other brackets. So like this is for the monitor, but it doesn't have to be a monitor. You could put other stands on there too. So, yep. Capped bottle only policy. Don't drink and stream. Speaking of, I should make some progress on this coffee. All right. What other questions can we do here? How hard could it be for YoloBox to add a stinger option for transitions? Good question. That would be a very cool thing for them to do. Like short video clip, maybe set a limit on how many seconds the clip can be. I would love to see that. They already have video playback as an option from the SD card. So in theory, all the pieces are there to actually have that work pretty quickly. So I think it's a great idea. If you also would like to see that, leave some notes in the chat, or if you're watching this after, leave comments down below, because the more feedback they get, the more they prioritize features that people want. Hi from Pico Island, Azores, Portugal. Normally we either have high shipping costs or companies won't ship here at all. Oof. Yeah. That is. Oh, the building sheriff. Thanks for the super chat. So, do you encode your output with the YoloBox or the ATEM? Could you explain your choice? This show I run on ATEM stuff, but it's actually a lot more complicated than just one ATEM Mini Extreme. Things have gotten a little bit out of control, actually, at this point, and it's a lot. I'm pulling up this diagram to show you the sort of simplified version of what I've got here, but this is more or less what I've got here in the studio. Oh, I started adding my video hub. Ignore that for now. This is more or less the setup that you're seeing this show on, where the ATEM Mini Extreme is doing most of the switching. It's also what's doing this super source layout with the computer screen over there and me over here. But this ATEM is not streaming. This ATEM is actually outputting to a television studio HD. that Television Studio HD. It's my old one that I got ages ago. It's very finicky because it has no frame rate converters in it, so you have to have everything matching. But all I have going in there is the ATEM, and then the Ultra Studio, which is how I get the chat messages and other graphics and super chats and things from my computer, and a HyperDeck for the little stingers and things like that. That outputs to the web presenter, which is what's actually doing the stream to YouTube. So the web presenter is doing the actual encoding, which is, the encoder is very similar to the one in the ATEM. It's probably the same. It's probably identical because they were released in the same generation. But that's the one that's actually doing the stream. And this has been working very well for me, and I like this setup a lot. So one of the main reasons I do this is because, again, I don't actually run cameras directly into the ATEM, even though it says it here. They actually all run into this matrix where you can take any input and assign it to any output, including any of my cameras or any of like the computer screens or the Apple TV that's in here, the HyperDecks. And the outputs can be anything from the eight inputs on the ATEM Mini Extreme are actually 8 of the outputs of this matrix. And then the other outputs are things like the computer screens or the monitors around here. So like this monitor is not plugged into the ATEM. It's not plugged into the computer. Same with that one. Same with the teleprompter. Those are all just plugged into the matrix so I can change what's on them. And for this setup, what I do in this show is I have the multi-view here, my main computer screen here, and that's the web presenter display. But then if I'm doing like a recording or if I'm doing a workshop here, I might have that be my computer screen so I can see my slides better or my coding better on this screen, and use that one for the multi-view because I'd need it less if I'm doing a live workshop in Zoom. And it's super handy to be able to switch it all around like that. But yeah, that's the reason that I have this whole thing based around the SDI Matrix and the ATEM Extreme. And I really don't use the YoloBox in this studio because, again, I think the main benefits of the YoloBox are that it's portable and it is an all-in-one box that you don't need anything else to stream. So as soon as I leave the studio to go do something outside, that's when I'm like, oh, the YoloBox might make the most sense here because it's small, it's battery powered, I don't have to worry about wiring a whole bunch of stuff up to make the show work. So that is that's when I end up using that. So doing like small events that I'm traveling a long distance for, where I also don't want to lug a flight case with me full of ATEM gear because I just don't like carrying that much stuff around. And the YoloBox is all of those things all packed in one. So it's perfect for that kind of work. And that's my main use of it. We do ship to Pico. I hope it's not too expensive, but that's great. Oh, without high fees even. Wonderful. Index3D they're the ones that actually make it, and they're the ones that actually ship out to everybody all the other resellers. Noel says, did you try the new YoloBox Pro updates like USB-C, webcam out, or audio delay adjustments? I did not update yet, have some events, and don't want surprise bugs. That is a very good point. It is always dangerous to update right before an event, and I even avoid this with my hardware when there's firmware updates. I don't like to update it if I'm like planning for an event and I've got everything set up. I just leave it, and that's another reason that I really don't like things that auto update and force you to update, because if I've just done it, if I've just tested everything and I know it works, I don't want any last minute surprises. So at least with the YoloBox, it prompts you that there's an update available, but you can cancel it out if you want. Some of the other I'm trying to remember what I encountered this on recently, but sometimes you end up opening up a piece of software or turning something on and there's an update available and it just forces you to do it, which is terrible. I hate it. Also, the reason that I absolutely refuse to use Windows in productions, because Windows, it just always wants to update. There's always something that it wants to do. So, yeah. Chris says, any word if they will enable USB out on the original YoloBox? I don't know for sure. I suspect if they haven't shipped it in this update, probably not. because the processor is just a lot slower in that original one. So that's too bad, but yeah. I am curious, so everybody here who has a YoloBox, what are you excited to use the USB out in the YoloBox for? Because like I mentioned, like I'm not super excited about it personally, so I would love to know what other things I'm not thinking of that it would be good for. So if you're in the chat now live, go ahead and drop something in the chat. And if you're watching later, also please leave a comment, because I would love to know that. And then maybe I can do some more examples and actually share those other use cases. But yeah, I've updated one of my YoloBoxes. I haven't actually tried out the new features much, other than just seeing if they work. On a recent Zoom call, the video was black from the ATEM Mini Pro. I had to power cycle the ATEM to get the video back. Any solutions to this problem? Power cycling is the solution. I've had that happen too. I've also had the opposite, which is the video works, but the audio doesn't. And I don't know why it happens. And it seems to happen only on the USB out of the ATEM. The rest of the ATEM is fine. Like the video HDMI out's fine, the streaming's fine. But for some reason, the webcam out sometimes just crashes and you have to reboot the ATEM. Luckily, it comes back very quickly. So make sure you do the, before you reboot, go to File, Save Startup State, because that way it will snapshot all of your settings and everything, and you won't be surprised when it turns back on. Okay, so I'm missing some other questions that I skipped through some. Again, do please tag your questions with Q in the front, and that makes it easier for me to find them on my screen here. From Larry, did a live YouTube video. The audio was consistent, but the video kept skipping. Any ideas? That's strange. So I guess what are you streaming from? Is it from an ATEM? Because that would be, I guess, possibly bandwidth doing that, because it can keep the audio stream going even in constrained situations. That's my only thought. If it's not an ATEM, then I don't know. It could be anything. I have an ATEM TV Studio HD and a sound system where I need both sound XLR in and ATEM out to the sound system. Best solution without feedback. Oh, okay. ATEM Television Studio HD, and the sound system needs XLR in and ATEM. Oh, now I'm getting confused. ATEM out PC and the HyperDeck. Okay, if you're getting audio from a player, you need that to go through the ATEM and send it out to the sound system. Is that sound system like in a venue, or is that just for streaming? I guess that's the question. I've had a similar problem too, setting up this room now as I'm moving things around, which is one of the reasons I would like to move all my audio processing into the dedicated mixer. But yeah, the HyperDeck HyperDeck is a problem because it sends the audio out over HDMI and there's no audio ports on it. At least not on the small one. Now I'm second guessing myself. Let's go find out. So, because if I can run, oh my God, I always forget what category they're in. Disc recorders. If I can run audio out of these directly into the mixer, problem solved. No audio processing is done in the ATEM. Okay, let's go into here and look at the ports on the back. The Mini, yeah, no audio ports on the back. Does this one have audio ports? Now I can't even remember. This one, still no. Only digital stuff. And then the big one has time code out and in. Still no audio. And still no audio. Okay. So, yeah, the only way to get the audio out of these things is from in conjunction with the video, which means the big limit that, like what I would love to have the ATEMs do, which I don't think it's ever going to happen at this point, what I would love to be able to do with the ATEMs is have the audio out from them be able to exclude one of the inputs. So that way I can like have my mic in going into the ATEM and send all of the other audio to the speakers in the room except my microphone. So that's a tough one. Definitely tough. Maybe some other people have some ideas for you though. Alonzo, thanks for the super chat. That's for a Portland espresso. The AdCom one is on us. Thanks. Thank you for the video and thanks for joining. Yeah, I will definitely go have an espresso. And if I ever can make it to Italy, I will definitely come by. And thank you. Missed the diagram. Use the Raspberry 2 companion server. Do I have the Raspberry Pi on here? I don't even remember if I do. I don't think I do. The Raspberry Pi is not on here. But yeah, I run companion off of a Raspberry Pi, not my computer. Again, I kind of like just having things separate because if my computer crashes, which it sometimes does, or I need to reboot it because it's just acting up, then I don't lose companion. So my Stream Deck buttons over here stay working, and I don't think I've ever had to reboot that Raspberry Pi, and it just works. So I've just got now a USB extension cable to run it from this spot on the table here over to the computer, which is in the rack, and that's been working very well. But yeah, I run that off of the Raspberry Pi to keep it separate from the computer, which sometimes just decides to crash. Like I came in this morning and the computer was just off. So lovely. Everybody wants to know what's the audio meter on the bookshelves. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. But Comica sent a little care package for the new year over to me with some cute stuff in it, and that was one of the things in the box, and I thought it was very cute. So I put it on the shelf. I think you can just find them on Amazon though. I don't think they're very expensive. Your opinion on using power zoom lens on the pockets in my camera so it can be controlled from an ATEM software. I really want this to, I want to be excited about this. What I have found is that, so when I was doing a lot of the conferences and I would want to be able to have a camera far away that I can remote control because I want different angles. I don't want all the cameras right next to me at the video booth. What I found is that there are almost no motorized Micro Four Thirds zoom lenses. I got one, it was like a 45 to 105 or something. And it is not good in low light, the aperture does not get very wide. And so that really limited what I could do with it in dark situations like dark conference rooms. And then the other problem I had was, it turns out just zooming in and out isn't actually very useful. So, because like if you have the zoomed out framed on like a stage, then your zoomed in zooms into the middle of the projector, not like the podium. So you actually need PTZ plus zoom. That's why there's a Z in the PTZ. So what I actually would like to have is a pan tilt head and then a zoom lens. And at that point, I was just like, well, this is just not like, that's too much. I just forget it. So I don't think I ever actually used the zoom feature with that lens at a conference because I couldn't get it to work well. So, yeah, I want that feature to be useful, but so far I have not had it be useful. The church I attend has a ATEM 1ME switcher. What would be the best way to get remote guests into the switcher? Remote contribution, remote guests is a whole topic. Lots of different options for you, and a lot of it depends on what stuff the remote end has. I would say probably the easiest for option is either going to be the sort of less ideal version of it, which would be Zoom, because you still have a lot of the UI stuff on the screen, unless you start going really deep into that world of the Zoom ISO and stuff, which gets a lot more complicated. But hopefully it'll be easier now that they acquired them. Or vdo.ninja, which is, I'll just drop this link in the chat because it's kind of a confusing URL. But it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it does work really well. And one of the reasons I like this one a lot is because at the other end, they just get a link and they just join from a browser with whatever camera they have. And they don't really have to think about anything. Nothing to install, nothing to worry about there. And then on your end, you can even do it with multiple guests. You can essentially get these little URLs that you can bring into OBS or bring into a computer and full screen it out to your ATEM, or lots of different possibilities for grabbing those feeds of your remote guests and mixing them in. So it's definitely worth looking into. Also, this one is free, which is really nice. I think those are my current top 2 recommendations. Kevin says, even with the MFT lenses that have electronic zoom, it's not very good. A huge misstep with the studio cameras. I wonder if any manufacturer are going to support the market here. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And mediocre glass. I don't know if I just haven't looked in the right places for better Micro Four Thirds zoom lenses, but I was not impressed with the options available. Let's just say that. How hard is it to work for a great company, do what you love in software and production, yet be stuck with the awful event platform your employer uses? Sounds like somebody has been to some of our events. It is frustrating, and that is one of the reasons that for one of the last events that we did, I ran the second part of it, which was the developer day, and what I did there, I think the website is still online, even though there's no, what I did there was we wanted to, we had like a conference the first day, sort of regular style, like pre-recorded talks with, it's one of those event platforms where you join in and you can browse around like the virtual expo hall and chat with people in the different rooms and stuff. And, oh, Hans. Thank you for the super chat. The super chat messages are a bit annoying to me. Thank you for contributing. Is it too late to participate in 25K follower video? It is not too late. I still haven't put it together. Please do. If there isn't a link in this video, there should be a link in some of my other recent videos. Let me check really quick. Oh, I forgot to put the link in this one. Let me go find it. Yeah, so I am still planning on, and I got to do it soon because we're starting to get past 25. We're already at 26 and a half. But I am still planning on doing it, putting together a sort of sizzle reel of videos from all of you who are watching this channel all the time. And I want to basically know who's here and share all of you with the rest of the community. So if you want to join, I found the link. I'm going to drop it into the description of this video and the chat. If you would like to join, then it is not too late, and please do. There is basically just a little Google form where you can read some instructions and drop in a link to a video. But yeah, I would love to know more about who you are, what you do, and share your channels or your businesses with everybody. So I will be putting that together. I'm just trying to find the right time to do it. So that link is now in the chat, and thank you for the super chat. I've actually also been thinking about changing the super chats that I do here, because sometimes I'm in the middle of something and then it jumps in and then I want to finish that other thought. So I'm thinking about changing it and queuing it up, and then like after I finish a train of thought, go over to super chats. But it is kind of fun that it like jumps in and surprises me. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Either way is good. Search voice activated pickup rhythm light on Amazon for the audio meter. I'm sure there's like a million of them. I'm sure there is not even a single brand that I can say that is for sure. Okay, so I was talking about the event platform situation, and the event platform, yeah, I will say it worked. I'm not super impressed with it. It was also extremely expensive, and I was personally offended at how much it cost. It just hurt inside. And I was like, okay, what if we tried to do this, but with things that are free or much, much cheaper? So the second part of that event was hands-on workshops where we had people join and actually participate in going through tutorials and doing exercises and things like that. So for that, which was a full day of content again, I ran that part, and I ran it using free tools. So I set up like a separate website for it, which was this website, and then here was a schedule for it. But what I did was, whenever you would go into here, when it was live, it was actually on this page, there was a, I'm trying to remember if I had it in the video I did about this. I don't know if I did. But what it was it was actually Owncast framed in, and then Rocket Chat, which is like a open source clone of Discord and Slack and stuff. So same idea of like channels and threads and whatever. And that was the platform for the event. And I was like, okay, can we make an event that is, you know, as engaging and has the same level of functionality as this incredibly expensive platform, but do it in a much more budget way? And it worked. It totally worked. So no regrets at all about that. And I would absolutely do it again. And I did do a live stream about this, but right after the event, I'm trying to find it right now. It was, oh my God, it was a while ago. So would have been, here it is. This live stream, I will drop this link into the chat. This live stream was me going through this back end of everything, and of what it took to run that, and all day event. It was fun. So, oh, and it was a live stream. It wasn't even edited. Yeah, I forgot. I just went live after that event. But yeah, it was very cool. It was cool. So, what was your original question? Yeah. What do I think about those event systems evolving? I think that Hopin buying StreamYard hopefully makes good things happen, because it's always nervous. I always get nervous when like some relatively small company that did something really cool gets bought by a very large company that has a kind of bulky platform. So far, it's looking like they're continuing to invest in StreamYard and the features there, which is good. I hope that stays. And yeah, I hope we see more competitors in the event platform space, because some of those people, man, it's like the frustrating thing is that it's not even like a technology problem. It's just a marketing budget problem, because the reason those companies get all the contracts is because they're good at marketing and good at sales, not because they have the best system. Anyway, yeah. What else? There's an audio to SDI and vice versa converter from Blackmagic. Oh, that's a really good point. If I really did want analog audio out of those HyperDecks, yeah, they have a box that splits it out, does pass through on the SDI and breaks out the audio. Yeah, we'll see how I end up doing this, because I don't know if it makes, I don't know. I don't know what makes the most sense. Like one way to handle it is to not route my microphone audio into the ATEM and have that mixed later down in the stream, so that the ATEM audio is only the clean non-dialogue. It's all just the sound effects and the playback and stuff. Computer. Good idea about the super chats. I understand the need to complete an answer to a previous question. I say queue them up and release at the end of the answer for a question. Okay, that's good feedback. I think I'll work on making that happen. It's going to take some little coding hackery to make that work. I don't know if I have an answer for you, Patrick. I recently set up Playout B using a Raspberry Pi. Kept getting double audio with one of them being delayed a few seconds. That sounds very strange. I would email the developer because he's very responsive and we'll hopefully have some ideas for you. Can I use HDMI out in the HyperDeck Studio combined with SDI out to the extreme for the alpha channel? I believe so. If you like want to save a converter, is that the idea? Because I think it works. I haven't actually tried it because I just run everything out through two converters. The one thing I would be a little bit worried about is that it's not perfectly in sync because of the HDMI conversion that it's doing. Whereas if you were running both SDI outs through two converters, then that's going to be in sync. It might be close enough that it doesn't matter. Give it a shot. Try to push something through it that's going to be like really obvious if it's out of sync. So like a clock that has an alpha channel that's counting frames even, or even just seconds. And that might give you an idea of whether it's close enough. I personally wouldn't do that. I would personally just run two converters, but it might work. I'm using an ATEM HD TV with the web presenter to stream. One of my cameras is the main source of sound. On my live show, sound is not in sync to the video. What can I do? With a web presenter. So if is that the new web presenter or the old one? Because the new one is the one that streams directly to YouTube. The old one was a USB capture card only, essentially. I suspect that the as soon as you bring it over USB, I'm guessing that's what you're doing. I'm assuming bringing it over USB is where that problem is being caused, because I've definitely seen some computers not be super happy about the USB output from the ATEMs, and over a very long period of time, especially if you leave the device powered on for a long time, that is when things can get out of sync. So that's my guess, but it's definitely not like if your audio is coming in over HDMI with the camera, that is 100% in sync. There's basically nothing that can happen that would cause that to not be in sync. So it would be later down in the chain that that it's getting out of sync. Ryan, thanks for joining. I noticed in your YoloBox chroma key video, there was a drop in frame rate on the keyed output. Was this just the recording or coming out of the YoloBox? That would be coming out of the YoloBox. So what I was doing for that was recording everything into the ATEM Mini Extreme. So the YoloBox out was going into the ATEM Mini Extreme, and everything is getting recorded at 30 frames a second in the Extreme. So if you were seeing frame drops on the keyed out, it was the YoloBox dropping those frames. So that is good to note. I don't think I noticed that, which is interesting when I was editing. Maybe I edited too fast, but good to note. And Petra is here. Thanks for joining. Sorry for being late. Well, you are a little bit late, and we are almost going to wrap up because I'm not going to go for 2 hours today. Patrick says, dub your own audio if anyone says 25 and replace it with 50. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, this is about the Micro Four Thirds lenses. No, there are like 3 options right now. Okay, so I'm not just missing something. There really are not good options for zoom, Micro Four Thirds zoom lenses. Okay. Anything else here that let me see if I missed anything. Can you delay the audio inside the web presenter? No, it doesn't have any. It's basically just an encoder. So whatever comes in is what it's going to deal with. There's almost no features in it other than the encoder, which is nice because it's a very straightforward device, but no option for that. Oh, I missed this one from earlier. Any problems if HDMI 1 Direct is selected for a normal Zoom call or broadcast? I'm not sure what you mean, because the if you're using it with Zoom, I'm assuming you're going over USB into the computer, in which case what the HDMI out is set to has nothing to do with the USB out. If you are, for some reason, running HDMI out into a different capture card into Zoom, I mean, yeah, there's no problems using HDMI direct. It's just bypassing the HDMI processing in the ATEM on its way out of the HDMI port. I could use an extra frame or two of delay in the ATEM software to sync up audio with the camera. Is 8 the highest setting you can go? It is the highest you can go. It does not have any more than that. If I remember correctly, it is actually counting frames. So let me just take a look really quick in the audio. And I'm not delaying mine because I do audio delay in the mixer now. But yeah, that says frames. Okay, so you can delay 8 frames, but what that means is that depending on your frame rate, that might cover a different amount of time. So for example, if you're streaming at 60 frames a second, then 8 frames is 8/60th of a second, which is 0.13 seconds. But if you're streaming at 30 frames a second, then 8 frames is a quarter second. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is you can delay it for longer, more actual time, by dropping your frame rate lower. So that's just something to think about in case that solves it. Any recommendations on encoding to YouTube in a way that can accommodate the variable bandwidth of a single 4G uplink? I mean, the ATEM already does do variable encoding, so it might already work. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to add to that. Sorry. Patrick says, can the audio delay be set via a macro? I'm thinking different cameras have different delays. They can, but I don't think it's a good idea. And the reason is because I've actually showed this before. Let me see if I can find it. Don't remember if that was the one or not. I think actually maybe it was. I think it was during the full overview live stream I did of the ATEM during the last week of the year. The reason I don't think it's a good option is because oh, thank you, MediaVex, for the super chat. Appreciate it. No comment there, but appreciate it. Yeah, the reason that I don't recommend it is because when you change the delay, there's a little bit of an artifact. So let me show you what I mean. I'm just going to do it here on this microphone, so it's going to get out of sync, but whatever, you'll deal with it. So as I change this, as soon as I let go, it's going to take effect. So as soon as I change this, you're going to hear what happens. You probably heard a little snap or some sort of little artifact. If I go back to 0, it's going to do it again. So unless you can change it when no one's talking, you're going to always have a little bit of a effect, a little click noise. So if you're changing it between camera angles, like if I was doing it every time this camera changed in order to actually sync up that microphone, that camera with that microphone with that camera, it's going to not be pleasant to deal with. Dropout. I hope it's not a complete dropout. But yeah, I was intentionally demonstrating a problem with the audio. Keith says, love your video on the YoloBox Pro. Tips for managing sound. Oh, and then rephrased, tips on audio input management. One of the updates they just did was being able to enable 3 audio sources at a time now, which is amazing. So you can actually have background music or have multiple microphones, which is really good. But I will say that the audio mixer is one of the weaker aspects of the YoloBox still. It's not nearly as powerful as the ATEM's audio mixer or a dedicated audio mixer. I would say it depends on what you're doing, of course. But in general, the best way to get everything in sync is to run your mic into the camera that you're streaming from. That way the camera is outputting a signal that's already in sync, and then you don't have to do any further processing. Yeah. Oh, it was a short dropout. Audio was muted when you were adjusting the delay. Oh, that's what I get for not using my headphones. Is that really, so if I go, okay, if I actually, oh, okay, I misunderstood how this, I feel like it changed. I thought it was not going to change the setting until I let my mouse go, but it turns out as I drag it, it is changing the setting, and anytime the setting changes, it drops out. So, yeah, definitely not a good plan is the moral of that story. Yes, probably better to use the same brand of camera, which I need to solve on this desk so that my side camera is not out of sync. Best software encoder if I don't buy a web presenter HD. The best software encoder. Well, I mean, OBS is free and on a computer already, which is a good option. Otherwise, if you're really talking about just an encoder, yeah, probably I would just use OBS because it's free. What if you have PTZ cams, you can't put audio in the camera? That is a good point. It's definitely a challenge. So if you are, what I've always ended up doing is, oh, thanks for the super chat. Confetti, yes. Appreciate it. What I've always ended up doing for PTZ cameras, oh, MT is saying, yeah, some of them have line in, but it depends on what else is set up in the venue. What I've always ended up doing is I have my main camera that's going to be the close-up shot of a speaker at a stage, and that is the one that I sync up audio to. Whether it's running audio into that camera or syncing it up later, it doesn't matter. I sync up the audio to that one, and then I just use the rest of the camera angles in a way that it doesn't matter if they're out of sync. So this is a bad example because you can see my face in this shot pretty closely, but if it was a really wide shot of like a stage and the person is tiny on the stage and all you can see is like 3 pixels of their lips, you're not gonna be able to tell if they're out of sync. So yeah. Alex Hardy says, when I use my Pocket 2 on the Magewell, I get a resolution of 1920 by 1088 with no image. Okay, I had this happen too, and I cannot remember what I did to fix it, but I was able to fix it. I'm trying to remember. I had the exact same thing. I was like, what is 1920 by 1088? Was that during a live stream? I feel like it actually might have been during a live stream, in which case we should be able to find it. And because I can search my timestamps for DJI Action, and I think it may have been during this one. So that was when I did the demo of streaming from it, and in here is somewhere. Yeah, there it's working. Didn't I show the computer screen setup though? Setting up the Magewell. Take a look at this video. I will drop this link into the chat. It's either in this one or the other one. Actually, I'll just drop the search into the chat. It's either in this one of these 2 videos is where I demoed it, because I do remember having that problem. And yes, it was weird. And then somehow fixed it. Yeah, the number sounds familiar. Okay, everybody else remembers it too. Oh, it was the GoPro, not the DJI Action. Try changing the resolution to UHD, take it out of digital cinema. Yeah, now I can't remember what I did. Maybe I didn't solve it with the GoPro, and I didn't have the problem with the DJI Action. Oh, man. No, I can't remember. Too many cameras. Graham says, I wouldn't want to run audio all the way back from the sound desk to the PTZ. Just have it encoded. Yeah, exactly. No. If you have a really far away PTZ camera, then I would just hopefully use it in a way where it doesn't matter if it's out of sync, if it's going to be like that out of sync. But sometimes it's close enough that it doesn't matter anyway. Okay. Wonderful. Well, that was fun. Those are some good questions. I think we're going to wrap it up here. We're well past the hour mark, and I'm trying to make these not go on for ages and ages. Yeah. Anything else that I wanted to get? Yeah. Okay, great. Oh yeah, one last thing I want to mention was my store. Oh, Friedrich, thanks for the super chat. Are you still using the Behringer, and are you still recommending it? I am. It's actually the Midas version of it, so same feature set, but the different audio preamps. MR18 instead of the XR18, but it's basically the same device. I am still using it. It is the one sitting over there underneath that pile of stuff. And that is what you're hearing me through right now. So far, I've been very happy with it. I'm still learning because there's a lot of stuff in the app, a lot of features, a lot of new terminology, but it is working well. And yeah, I would say I have been very happy with changing to that setup. Yeah, okay. Last thing I want to mention was my shop. So shop.aaronpk.tv, and the links to everything that I have is on here, like the stands, of course, but also always have to mention my fun merch in my fun colors. Still very happy with my wall calendar. It is now on my wall, and I've started to fill it with stickers and stamps. So that is very fun. That is how I keep track of everything that happens in the year. And it finally came. FedEx was just very, very slow in delivering it. Like 2 weeks late. But what I wanted to mention was the used gear. I am going to, so I've got a bunch of stuff here that I've been holding on to for a long time for various reasons, and decided to just sell because I would rather it get use by people who actually want to use it instead of just sitting in a box. It all works fine. It's all in quite good condition. I don't beat up my stuff too much generally. And now that we're getting to where a bunch of it's sold out, I am going to be dropping the price on these every week until I get rid of it all, until it gets down to $1. And so yeah, if nobody buys it at these prices this week, I'm gonna drop another $5 or $10 next week, and we'll just keep going down until we get to $1, and hopefully then somebody will buy this stuff for $1. So if you want to hold out and see if you can get some of these for $1, go for it. But you might miss out too. So there's more stuff than these four too. So go into this category and you can see everything in here. And yeah, that's the deal. So I just wanted to mention that again. That is shop.aaronpk.tv. That is that is Crazy Aaron's Discount House. Yeah. We will and who knows? I might have some more stuff going into the so far that's the same batch from December, but I might have some more stuff being added to that soon as well. Okay. Oh, one last question before we leave. Have you tried the Elgato Facecam with the YoloBox Pro? It looks like that's the one it isn't happy with, which is unfortunate. I agree. I was really hoping that was going to work. I think it's because it only does 1080, and I think the YoloBox only accepts 720 webcams. I think that's the problem. So hopefully they can fix that in an update. Spring sale at Aaron's shop. Yes, it is spring sale until we get down to $1. That's the deal. So yeah. Make me ship some more packages out this week. I would love to. I've got so many shipping supplies at home now for this. It's been a whole project. Okay. Thanks everybody for the super chats. thanks for joining the live stream. Thank you for hanging out every week and asking all of these lovely questions. And yeah, leave a comment below if you have more questions. Otherwise, I will see you again next week, same time, same place, and we'll see if I end up changing the set around. It's starting to noodle on it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We will see. But yeah. Wow, this is still a lot of people. Thank you all for the super chats. List just keeps on going. Yeah, I don't have anything else. We're gonna leave it there. I think I missed a couple of questions as usual because sometimes it just flies by really fast. But you know, come back next week and we will keep chatting. Bye, everybody.